What It Takes Radio Company invites you into the impact zone. That's right, the impact zone. We're going to figure out how we can make a difference, make an impact in life. And here, how to make sure that you are unbreakable in an AI robot world. What does that mean, and how could it help you? Let's tell the story. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan Houston once again, Stan the Radio Man. And I want to say I think we're in the twilight zone. Impact zone, the transformation zone, the generosity zone, all kinds of zones today. And I don't know if there's going to be a twilight zone, because that, of course, is 60 years old. Rod Serling in his classic film series of the 1960s, still one of my heroes when it comes to looking at what a broadcaster can be, and you should look at it too. He was way ahead of his time with creativity in a program called The Twilight Zone, which some of you of this age and stage may remember, and some of you probably should go back and take a look and a listen to some of it still today. That's the wonderful thing about this streaming world. You can do something that could last for 60, 70 years. And because of the technology, those who did some good stuff 60 or 70 years, we can still get that kind of work right on demand. Things have changed. Guess what? They're going to change even more. And I am a little bit broken up about the title, Unbreakable. Now, it was my robot that suggested that title for this presentation. And I thought about it because I have a little bit of a more philosophical meaning from my own personal experience. I oftentimes say, we need people who are bold and broken. Now, broken means you've crashed maybe a number of times. You've been broken. And so perhaps there's a little less arrogance in your life, perhaps a little more humility, because, you've been humbled, you've been broken. And I think that's true of all of us. One of my friends has said, never trust a man without a limp, somebody who hasn't been wounded or damaged or hurt in some way. Those are the kind of people that we're looking for. So being unbreakable, first of all, I don't know if we can do that, but I did get the point. Trying to put yourself in a position or in a place where, we talk about being unstoppable, unbreakable. In effect, how do you deal with all of the things that are coming in life and business today? Again, I decided I found this as a result, just a freebie, this wild and crazy graphic design, and it was bold and bright. And I said, I like that. And the people who had it said, you can have it if you want it. And so it's a gift. And it's what I'm going to use from time to time, just because it will gain attention and perhaps keep your interest. Here we go. Welcome to the world unbreakable in a world of AI and creativity. So if you'll pardon me, I just have a few notes here I'd like to think about. Here, we're diving into that which is shaking the very foundation of how we work and how we think. How do I fit in a world that's full of artificial intelligence? How is that going to work for me? What am I going to do? How do we remain unique, powerful, and fearless in a world that is increasingly automated? Okay, got that? Unique, powerful, and fearless in a world that is increasingly automated. How do we do that? Let's not shrink back. Now is the time to not conform. If you want to thrive, you must tap into something AI will never have. What could that be? What can the robot not be? Now, the robot's trying, but it'll never quite get the job done, because my robot is trying in some respects to imitate me. And it's getting pretty good at that. However, it will never be able, hopefully, to beat me because I plan in terms of my creativity, my contribution, perhaps just my personality and energy to be a little bit ahead of the robot at all time. What about you? Now, here's the point. Give the robots what they're good at. AI can process, analyze, and predict, but it can't be you. If you want to thrive, you must do something quite unique and something different. Your individuality, your essence, your spirit, your soul, the thing that makes you uniquely you, and your creativity. Now, tomorrow in one of my programs, we're going to put together the 7 wisdoms that you need to begin to acquire so that you can be transformed in a AI transforming economy. So, how do we do that? I oftentimes quote my daughter in a story that I had a number of years ago. She's a writer, a very talented woman in New York City. And when I wrote my first book called You Make the Difference, which was a initial guide to what we call personal performance marketing, I said to her, maybe I ought to write another book on marketing. And she looked at me and said, okay, uh, tell me more. And then I told her a little bit more about how she'd follow up. And then she said to me, Dad, uh, yes, I'm sure you could write a good book on marketing, and it would probably be better than most. You probably could do that. But, Dad, what the world needs is another damn book on marketing. That was the question. Does the world need another book on marketing? And then she made this line: write the book that only you can write. Only you. Only you can make that contribution. And that has always stuck with me. And I think I'm still trying to do that. The words, perhaps the wisdom, the book, the radio program that perhaps only I can do. Um, your job is to stand up and stand out. Stand up, stand tall, and stand out. And that's why we're talking, as we have, about having signature sayings, things that really reflect the quips and quotes and questions you have that make you unique and different in a conversation and a presentation. But how can you do that? Here's a few steps to think about. Own your mind. Stop outsourcing your thinking. AI can feed you information, but it cannot create wisdom. That is yours to cultivate. Question everything, from opinions based on experience, not just data, where breakthroughs happen. Embrace the unpredictable. We don't like things to be unpredictable. We want things to be very predictable. Be open to the explosions of unpredictability that will happen. I think that's part of what people miss about Elon Musk is he expects the unpredictable. And when it happens, he's ready for it and not thrown by it. As it was pointed out, that wonderful spaceship that just brought the astronauts back, that wasn't the first one, nor the second one, nor the third one. But in effect, and the point we've made before, is he asked the question, how can I be useful? Okay. Create without permission. Just again, I mentioned one of the persons that I've mentioned before, that the musician Prince, who talented man. I was so sad about his life and all of that. I knew a man who actually mentored him as a young man and helped him. But the whole idea is always go into the studio and just create. Don't worry about necessarily whether there's a marketplace for it not, or whether it's going to do any good or any. You just be in the creative mode all the time. Like I say, I'm always in the business of trying to figure out how I can make another pen handmade, just because I like to make my own pens, and they're all made by me, and there's no other one alike except for the ones that I make. How about that? Because just as we are now learning, when we stopped manufacturing and making things, things don't go well. And that's why we have to create more making jobs, manufacturing jobs. It's good to make things. People who make things, manufacture things, uh, not just think great thoughts, but make things, think things, uh, in effect, fix things. Okay. Um, there's going to be some fear in your life. Just see if you can turn your fear into fuel. Fear into fuel. Um, be distinct. Um, you are irreplaceable. Just kind of let that sit on your head for a while. You know, ask yourself the question, um, has God in any way gifted me with something that is quite unique? Now, I'm really sure that you have been. Uh, it's almost instinctive and unique, but you don't know it. And that's why one of the questions I have always is, there's a person you have to meet if you want to be successful in life. I'd like to introduce you to the person you have to meet that can help you be very successful. Well, I say, well, who is that person? The person is you. Most of us don't know ourselves at all. As one of my mentors said, and it's very hard because 75% of who we are is not in our self-consciousness. It's unconscious, and it takes a massive work in terms of spirit and energy and curiosity to be able to find some of that stuff that is in me and from me and coming to me that I'm not aware of before. There's all kinds of bright lights and colors, you know, that are in you. And unfortunately, in a bright and colorful world, in a bright and flavorful world, most of us just live in the black and whites of the world we live in today. I'm done. But I simply want to put this forward to you. In effect, the AI phenomenon is going to really be very, very difficult in many ways. However, there are ways in the making and in the thinking and in the creativity and uniqueness and distinction that you can bring into the world that can help you be very, very successful. And maybe even come to the point that you will have very little to fear. That in some respects, because you've been broken before and because you've experienced some victory and some great sense of confidence in what has happened, that right now you say, uh, maybe I will not be broken by this new change in the technology and the ways of thinking and the ways of doing life and business today. Well, I'm done for today. So I hope this has been helpful to you. All the best and blessings. And remember, the world is here and it is waiting for you to show some real creativity in all that you do, in how you live, and maybe even how you treat others. Take care. Bye for now.